Good morning. So today we're going to continue on talking about Gideon's 300 men. The characteristics, there's 16 characteristics. So today I'm going to combine three together, which are these. God was looking for men that weren't going to crumble under pressure. Number two, he was looking for men that he could count on. And number three, men that would not give in to fear. And in studying this attribute, I immediately thought of the woman with the issue of blood, found in Mark chapter 5, verses 21 through 36. Let's just do a little background on this woman. And if you don't know this story, go ahead and look that up. Mark chapter 5, verses 21 through 36. So this woman had been bleeding for 12 long years. She was considered unclean, so she wasn't even supposed to be around people that day, and yet she was in a crowd. But God had put it in her heart to touch the hem of Jesus' garment. And she said, in her heart, she said, I know I'll be healed if I can just touch him. And the more I studied about this woman, I noticed one thing, that she doesn't say one word until Jesus asked her a question. And that's when he said, who touched me? And then and only then does she speak. She wasn't asking everyone else in the crowd that day, well, what would you do? What do you think? You know, she wasn't doing that. She was just following what God had put in her heart. And when you believe that God has spoken something to your heart, you know, it's okay to say, this is what I feel like God is speaking. But if you're trying to convince somebody that's just not going to believe you or agree with you, you are wasting your strength when you should be saving your strength for the pressing through the crowd. And so another thing that I noticed was she didn't have one friend in the crowd that day. Now, Psalms and Proverbs talks a lot about asking for advice. But do you go to people that you know don't like you for advice? If you do, I don't know about that. I wouldn't. And she had to keep her focus on Jesus. She had to ignore the snide remarks, the dirty looks, maybe some pushing and shoving. And there was a lot of people there that day. She had to push through caring too much what people thought about her and not letting fear come in and not letting fear control her, fear of what the people might be thinking of her. So another example of not crumbling under pressure is Jesus himself. There's no better example than Jesus. And he also had the wisdom to know when to be silent under extreme pressure. And in John 14:30, Jesus told his disciples, he said, I won't be talking much with you, for the prince of this world is coming, and he has no power over me. And then in Mark 15:3-5, before the crucifixion, Pilate asked Jesus, aren't you going to answer them? He said, what about all the charges that are being brought against you? But Jesus said nothing, much to Pilate's surprise, because he was in tune with the Father, and the Father was saying, don't even answer. We are living in a day, people, where it seems like we're asking everybody what they think, what they would do, what they are doing, what should I do? We're asking everybody but the Father. And this is the message that the Lord has given me, is to ask the Father. Ask me, the Father, what should you do? And I will tell you. James says, if you lack wisdom, ask me, and I will tell you. The scripture is very plain about that. God is waiting for us to ask. He's just waiting. And guess what? He has all the right answers. You won't have to wonder. You can follow peace. In the day that we're living in, people ask me, well, what are you going to do? I say, follow peace. Ask Jesus. This is the answer that the Lord has given me when people are asking me, in the days that we're living in, What are you going to do? What did you do? God has given me this. Simply, why don't you pray about it? Ask God. Open up His Word. And today you can Google anything. Ask, ask your phone, you know, give me scriptures on wisdom, asking God for wisdom and direction and guidance. And they'll come right up on your phone, and you can read those scriptures. Ask God today, what should you do? And He will answer. So, Lord willing, I'll see you next Wednesday. God bless.